Rush hour traffic came to a standstill when a human head rolled onto the highway, followed by a screaming car and the twisted wreckage of a man's final act of revenge. In today's story, we're diving into one of the most shocking and theatrical revenge suicides ever recorded. This isn't just about death, it's about betrayal, money, madness, and a final message delivered in front of thousands. What drove Gerald Mellin to turn his own death into a brutal spectacle, and how did it all unravel? Let's get into it. It all began in Swansea, Wales, a coastal city known for its scenic views and quiet suburban life. Gerald Mellin was a 54-year-old businessman with a taste for extravagance. He owned a tanning salon chain and was known around town for his flashy lifestyle, sharp suits, and big ego. He'd married a woman years younger, and for a time, they seemed like the perfect power couple. But behind closed doors, things were far from perfect. His wife had grown tired of his controlling behavior, and the relationship had turned cold, hostile even. Soon, she began preparing divorce papers. When Gerald found out about the divorce, something inside him snapped. But instead of pleading, begging, or walking away like most would, he started crafting a plan. A plan so twisted it would leave an entire community horrified. He made a call to cancel his life insurance policy, odd, considering most people are trying to secure their loved ones before death. But Gerald wasn't trying to help her. He was trying to ruin her. He then took out an astronomical loan in his name, listing his wife as the guarantor. He burned through the money in a matter of days, lavish hotels, expensive nights out, and reckless shopping sprees. It was a final, self-indulgent spree before the grand finale. The day of the incident began like any other, until Gerald drove his car into a quiet road where a large tree loomed by the curbside. He meticulously tied one end of a thick rope to a branch, the other around his neck, and got into the driver's seat. Witnesses would later say he looked calm, collected, like a man on a mission. With a roar, the engine screamed to life. He floored it. The car lurched forward, dragging the rope taut in a split second. The force of the acceleration ripped his head clean off. It flew through the air and landed in the middle of a busy street. During rush hour, people screamed. Drivers slammed on brakes. Witnesses were traumatized. One even fainted. Police were called immediately. Why would someone stage such a horrific public suicide? Why the rope, the tree, the timing? Investigators quickly pieced together the clues, and the motive came into focus. Gerald didn't just want to die. He wanted to punish. With no life insurance payout and a massive unpaid loan hanging over her, his wife was left financially wrecked. His final act was calculated cruelty. Financial sabotage wrapped in a grotesque public display. He wanted his death to be unforgettable. But deeper questions haunted investigators and the community. Was Gerald mentally ill? Did anyone see this coming? Could someone have intervened? His friends described him as narcissistic, but no one expected this. His wife, devastated and financially entangled, was forced to rebuild from nothing, all while being reminded daily of the horrifying way he'd left the world. The image of a severed head rolling down a street is hard to erase. But it wasn't just shock value, it was vengeance. Gerald Mellin orchestrated a scene that could haunt not only his wife but every witness who saw it. Some called it theatrical. Others called it evil. What's undeniable is that Gerald didn't just take his life. He took peace, stability, and emotional safety from everyone around him. In the aftermath, authorities worked to shield the community from the trauma, offering counseling to witnesses. His ex-wife, though never charged with anything, bore the financial burden of his last act for years. Gerald Mellin's name faded from the headlines, but his story remains a haunting reminder of how far rage and ego can go when left unchecked. Sometimes, the most terrifying crimes don't come from strangers in the dark, but from the people we once trusted the most. If this story stunned you, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real-life stories that dive deep into the darkest corners of the human psyche. And tell us, what do you think drove Gerald to this horrifying end?